adding up to an extra $4,000 over the next 2 years. Senator Warren said, "It's increasing Social Security benefits is the quickest way to get money out the door during an economic time like this. And the idea of boosting Social Security benefits by $200 per month was also included in President Elizabeth Warren's presidential campaign platform." The move comes as many Social Security beneficiaries feel left out. Senator Chuck Schumer, Senator Mitch McConnell has also put forward a proposal that included SSI, Social Security Income. However, because the plan urges and uses income from 2018 tax returns as a qualifier, it can leave out many people. We have a ton of news to go over, but the fourth stimulus check. Continue watching this video to find out the latest news on this. President Biden is finally taking and helping the American people. President Biden is taking action and ready to help the people. Here's some breaking news, everybody. IRS Commissioner Chuck Reddick has just sounded alarm over the agency's massive backlog of unprocessed returns, which he warned could lead to a challenging tax season. In a statement for Yahoo News, IRS Commissioner Chuck Reddick acknowledged that millions of people are still waiting for the prior year's tax returns to be processed and refund checks to arrive in the mail, but committed to returning to normal inventory levels before next year. Chuck Reddick also said, "We have taken extraordinary measures to work through this time." But the big news is for people that are currently waiting to receive tax refund payments for this year. Chuck Reddick noted the agency is also grossly understaffed. And according to the Congressional Budget Office, it is 20,000 fewer staff than it did in 2010. And this is going to cause some backlog.
That was planned in the backdrop of the imminent invasion of Ukraine. That became obviously the centerpiece of the Munich Security Conference. Many of us have gone to that conference over the years to talk about security, economy, and how that relates to security, and governance, and how that relates to security. In fact, those three things, security, economy, and governance, are the purpose of any foreign travel of members of Congress. The Munich conference, it gives us a distilled way to see so many leaders from so many countries on those subjects. And at this time, of course, the focus was Ukraine. We had more than one delegation, but around 40 members of Congress, House and Senate, Democrats and Republicans, all united in our support for the transatlantic alliance, NATO, all of us united in being there to remove all doubt in Putin or anyone else's mind that we were acting as one. And of course, that would have been our message with or without Ukraine. Ukraine made it even more so, because now we're talking about sanctions and the rest. We are very proud of our Vice President our President whose leadership has been outstanding, and the message was delivered to the conference by the Vice President. It was well received, it was unifying, it was firm in terms of how we would work together for sanctions should there be an invasion of Ukraine. That another nation should be part of NATO. We just met with the Secretary General of NATO, for whom we have great respect, and again, it's self-determined by a country that they might want to make the appeal. It's up to all of NATO to decide.
Because President Biden and many Democrats, as well as Republicans, want to help out the American people with a fourth stimulus check, and I cannot wait for President Biden to send it out. So Democratic senators are on board for more stimulus bills this year. This will be a big change to millions of people in the low and middle income households across the nation. More crisis relief is going out, everybody, so we should be looking forward to this. So we have some big news. It's that Manchin is starting to turn up the heat on another round of President Biden's Democratic spending bill. Manchin has ramped up his calls this month to step up taxes on the richest people in America. Manchin actually told the Wall Street Journal, "I respect Kyrsten Sinema and what her concerns may be, but I think basically our financial situation is getting worse and not better. So we better have a better way of looking at it." So that there are many ways to pay for such ideas that do not include tax rate increases that could hurt small businesses and our economic competitiveness while we continue to emerge from a crisis and economic downturn. Senator Kyrsten Sinema's opposition to tax rates have already prompted Democrats to scramble for new ways to finance their plans, and also to expand healthcare, childcare, and education. So far, Manchin has said he backs hiking the corporate tax rate to 25% as part of a future spending bill. So what are your thoughts on this? Will Joe Manchin get it done? and the different changes demands from both senators underscore the difficulty and tricky path ahead for Democrats trying to move forward with President Biden's spending bill. Manchin has already said that he would like to see changes made to the version of the bill that was passed in the House of Representatives. It's also important to remember, everybody, that lawmakers need all Senate Democrats to support another package to push it through the 50-50 chamber. And the good news, everybody, is that most lawmakers are optimistic about getting the massive spending bill passed this month. That includes President Biden, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer. During a recent interview with Politico, the Commerce Secretary said that Joe Manchin is gettable on a revised Build Back Better package and in a key part of President Biden's domestic agenda. So far, everybody, Biden has announced that lawmakers will likely have to remove provisions of free community college to get the spending bill passed. And during a news conference, Biden said, "I think we can break the package up and get as much as we can done now." It's definitely important, everybody, that the Biden administration does pass more financial relief sooner than later. Biden said it was clear that there was support for the climate change provisions, like a production of tax credits for a range of industries. And Manchin supported early childhood education. Slimming down the bill might also get Manchin support, but it will likely aim at the progressive lawmakers of the Democratic Party that is also needed for passage. One big thing, everybody, that Manchin has already announced is that he would like to see a work requirement for the expanded monthly child tax credit payments. But other Senate Democrats had rebuked the work requirement in recent months. Senate Democrats have rebuked a work requirement in recent months, arguing that it was also going to arguing that raising a child is work. And Manchin also raised concerns about the credit's income households and their thresholds. Manchin told reporters that there was no test to ensure the credit reaches the families who need it the most. One big thing, everybody, has already been announced is that Joe Manchin would like to see a work requirement for the expanded child tax credit payment.
Let us be very clear. Social Security is not going broke.
Well, Joe Biden is the president of high prices, and one of the defining failures of the Biden presidency is going to be inflation. We're now at a 40-year high of inflation, and interestingly enough, Joe Biden's approval rating has dropped to a historic low of only 40%. 40-year high inflation, 40% approval rating. Because people are feeling the pain, paying the price every time they go to the grocery store, every time they go to the gas pump. It's $1 a gallon more for gas now than it was when Joe Biden became president. Month after month after month, prices continue to go up. Wages aren't going up in a way they can keep up with the prices that are going up. So people are falling further and further behind, and they're feeling squeezed. It's happening to working families all across the country. The numbers are, it's cost about $275 more this year.
We went to Israel. We began our trip in Israel, where we met at the highest level with the Prime Minister, the President, who welcomed us in the grandest style to review the troops and be honored at events. But the really important part